Hey there, welcome back friends. Today we will talk about request scope. Now as the name suggests, the request scope is based on request object. Now friends, whenever we create a JSP file and we execute a JSP file on the web server, a separate copy of request and response object would be available to that specific JSP file. So take a note of it. Now friends, for example, we try to run this program and definitely the output would be with the default value John Doe. Likewise, for example, we try to set the values and here is the output, values has been set, and then we try to check the values which are there inside this getProperty.jsp file. Then the values are not updated, right? So here is the code for get request property and here is the code for set request property. You can definitely pause this video and check the code real quick. Now the reason why we are not able to get the access for the updated values is very simple. When we are setting the values, the request object is different. When we are executing this particular file, set request object, a separate request object is being used and we are setting the values. But when we are trying to get the values, a different copy of request object is used. Little confusing, right? Now in order to make things more cleaner, let me do one thing. Let me copy these two lines of code and paste it in here. Here we go. Now friends, as we are setting the values and getting the values both in the same page, the request object will not change and definitely we would be able to see the updated values. Let me refresh this page and here are the updated values, which is perfect. Alright, now let me do one small little thing. Let me copy and paste these two lines of code before setting a new value. After this line number 10, here we go. And now this time what will happen is, firstly we will be able to see the old values, then definitely we are setting the values and the updated values would be also printed after this message values has been set. Let me refresh the page and here is the output. Definitely our program is working. Now friends, as this scope is based on request object, we can do a small little thing again. For example, we are only setting the values and we want to pass on this request object which is available to this page to a new page. Even that is possible. And how that can be done? Using forwarding mechanism. So what we will do is, we will pass on the request object to this file. The name of the file is getRequestProperty.jsp file and we would be able to display the updated values simultaneously. Alright, so now the way is very simple. In here, first of all, we will make use of a scriptlet and in here we will request the dispatcher. The way is very simple. We will type in request get request dispatcher. We will request the dispatcher for the file get request property, this file. So let me copy the name and paste it in here and then we will forward the request and response object. So firstly we will forward the request object and then response object. Here we go. So this seems to be good enough. And now what will happen is, whenever we will execute this particular file set request property.jsp, firstly this file will set the information, it will update the information from the default information and then request would be forwarded to this file get request property.jsp file and we would be able to see the updated values. So this would be interesting. Let me quickly run this file and here is the output. Even though in the URL it is saying set request property.jsp, but the output is from get request property.jsp file and we are making use of the request object which is created for the set request property.jsp file. Now this is definitely a confusing thing and how the working is done can confuse you a little. Now the solution is, revisit this video once again and try to recode this exact program by yourself. Try to experiment, try to understand what is the workflow, how the request is forwarding and what is the impact of request and response object. Definitely once you revisit the video and try to code it by yourself, you will get the concept. The concept isn't difficult at all. Once you get the point that the object request and response are unique for every JSP file unless the request is forwarded. The concept is definitely very simple. Alright, so this is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.